everyone. Today's story begins with a plate of peeled chestnuts. What seems like a gentle, loving marriage is actually a carefully crafted deception. During her pregnancy, a woman slowly realizes that she has been treated as a tool by the person closest to her. When love turns into calculation, she must uncover the truth before everything falls apart. Let's begin.
When I was pregnant, Lu Shuryan peeled chestnuts for me every single day. Sugar-roasted chestnuts had to be from that old, time-honored shop on the west side of the city. He would take a detour after work to buy them, and they'd still be warm when he got home. He sat on the sofa, his long fingers peeling them one by one, placing them onto a white porcelain plate, and then bringing it to me.
Eat more. Nuts are good for the baby.
When he smiled, his eyes curved gently, his voice soft and tender, as if afraid of startling the child in my womb. My name is Shin Lucy. I've been married to Lu Shuryan for 3 years, dated him for 2, and in the autumn of the 5th year since we met, I became pregnant with our first child. Everyone said that marrying Lu Shuryan meant I must have saved the galaxy in my past life. Lu Shuryan, the youngest heir of the Lu group. 187 centimeters tall, clean-cut and refined, never smoked, never drank, and had no scandals whatsoever. And yet he married a woman like me, from an ordinary family, and cherished me like the apple of his eye. In the 3 years of our marriage, he squeezed toothpaste onto my brush every morning, warmed milk for me every night, always brought back gifts from business trips, and never missed a surprise on holidays. My best friend said I was living the life of a romance novel heroine. I believed that too. Until that night. In the late stage of pregnancy, my sleep was light. When I turned over, I felt the empty space beside me. Lu Shuryan's phone lit up on the nightstand. He must have gone to the study to deal with work. I originally wanted to turn it off for him, afraid the light would be too harsh. Then I saw the WeChat message. The contact name was Nyen.
Does that medicine really work? She's taken it for 3 months. Will the baby be affected?
My finger hovered above the screen as if nailed into the air. I knew I shouldn't look. I had never checked his phone. But the words medicine and baby were like 2 needles stabbing into my eyes at the same time. I scrolled up a little. He didn't have the habit of deleting chat records, or perhaps he never imagined I would look. Lu Shuryan.
Don't worry. I've asked a doctor. That medicine won't cause deformities in the fetus, it will just slow development. The baby will be weak and sickly after birth, but won't die.
Nyen.
Whether she gives birth or not, what difference does it make? The child is just a tool. The one I want is you.
Then when are you going to tell her the truth?
After she gives birth. I've already contacted the doctor. During the C-section, they'll remove her uterus as well. She has no right to be the mother of my child.
You're really ruthless.
I don't need to be soft-hearted with her.
I stared at that last line for a long time. The screen went dark automatically. In the darkness, I could hear my own heartbeat, thud after thud, heavy, like someone hammering stones against my chest. Remove the uterus. No right to be a mother. No need to be soft-hearted. Slowly, very slowly, I put the phone back on the nightstand. Then I turned onto my side, facing the window. Moonlight slipped through the gap in the curtains, falling onto my swollen belly. The baby moved. I touched my stomach. My eyes felt dry, as if scraped by sandpaper. I didn't cry. Not a single tear. Because I remembered 3 months ago, when he handed me my first bowl of pregnancy tonic soup, he smiled and said,
Lulu, I had a traditional Chinese doctor prescribe this for you. It's especially good for the baby.
I drank it for a month. Then I started feeling frequent dizziness and drowsiness. The baby moved less and less. During checkups, the doctor said the fetus was small, but it wasn't a big problem, just told me to eat more nutritious food. Lu Shuryan held my hand beside me, his face full of concern.
You've worked so hard, honey. From now on, I'll peel chestnuts for you every day to supplement vitamins.
When he said that, there was truly light in his eyes. But that light was fake. The study door opened. I closed my eyes, adjusted my breathing, letting my body appear deeply asleep. Lu Shurian walked in quietly and stood by the bed for a few seconds. I could feel his presidency gaze fall on my face, carrying that familiar gentleness. Then he bent down and placed a kiss on my forehead. Very light, very cold.
Good night, Lulu,
he whispered. I almost threw up. After he lay down, his breathing soon became steady and even. I opened my eyes, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing like a machine running at full speed. Medicine. What medicine? The pregnancy tonic soup. 1 bowl every day. He brought it to me himself, fed it to me himself until I finished it. I thought it was love. It turned out to be a slow murder. Chestnuts. 1 plate every day. He peeled them himself, fed them to my mouth. I thought he cared about the baby's development. It turned out that while feeding me the medicine, he was also giving me some vitamins on the side, afraid I might die too quickly and leave him with something to answer for. My uterus. Removed during the C-section. I remembered last month when he accompanied me to a prenatal checkup and deliberately asked the doctor.
my wife has a weak constitution. After the baby is born, can she undergo sterilization directly? I don't want her to suffer again.
The doctor even praised him for being considerate. So that was what he meant. Not letting me suffer again, not because he was afraid I'd be in pain, but because he was afraid I might get pregnant with his child again. The child he wanted belonged to that woman called Nenyen. From beginning to end, I was nothing more than a surrogate who was about to be disposed of. I turned over, facing his back. Under the moonlight, his shoulders were broad, his sleeping posture upright like a flawless sculpture. I've known him for 5 years. At a university alumni gathering, he wore a white shirt, holding a glass of champagne as he walked up to me and said,
Hello, my name is Lu Shurian. May I get to know you?
At the time, I thought he looked like someone straight out of a romance drama, unreal. Later, he pursued me, flowers, rides, rushing back overnight from another city when I was sick. Everyone said he was the perfect boyfriend. My parents said, where else would you find a man like this? So I married him. I thought I had married love. Turns out, I married a carefully constructed lie. I closed my eyes, my fingers slowly tightening under the blanket. Lu Shurian, you taught me this. With you, there's no need to be soft-hearted. The next morning, I got up as usual. Lu Shurian was already dressed and heating milk in the kitchen. Hearing movement, he turned and smiled at me.
You're up? Why not sleep a bit longer?
His smile was natural, warm, exactly the same as every other day before. I smiled too.
I've had enough sleep,
I said.
The milk's almost ready. Go sit first.
He brought over a cup of warm milk, placed it in my hands, then took out chestnuts from the cabinet.
I'll peel you some fresh ones today. Yesterday's batch wasn't sweet enough, so I switched shops.
I looked at his hands, long, clean, with neatly trimmed nails. These were the same hands that drugged me every day.
Okay,
I said. I took a sip of the milk. I couldn't taste anything. He sat across from me, head lowered as he peeled chestnuts. The shells cracked crisply between his fingers. Morning light streamed in through the floor-to-ceiling window, falling on the side of his face, so beautiful it didn't feel real.
honey,
I called him.
M.M.?
He didn't look up.
do you think, after I give birth, my body will become very weak?
His fingers paused for a moment, very slight, very subtle, but I saw it.
How could that be?
He looked up, his gaze gentle.
I've already arranged the best postpartum recovery team for you. After you give birth, I'll take you to Switzerland for a month to recuperate properly.
Switzerland?
Haven't you always wanted to visit Jungfrau? Once the baby is a month old, we'll go as a family of 3.
When he said this, his eyes were full of anticipation, like a man truly looking forward to becoming a father. If he hadn't said those things last night, I probably would have been so moved I'd cry.
Okay,
I smiled. He pushed the peeled chestnuts toward me. On the white porcelain plate, the golden chestnut flesh was piled like a small hill.
Eat?
he said. I picked one up and put it into my mouth. Sweet. Very sweet. So sweet that when I swallowed, it felt like my throat was being sliced by a blade.
Is it good?
He asked.
It's good.
I smiled and picked up another one.
Chestnuts peeled by my husband, of course they're delicious.
He smiled too, reaching out to stroke my hair. Under the table, my hands clenched into fists, nails digging into my palms. It hurt, but not as much as the pain in my heart. After breakfast, Lu Shuryan left for work. The moment the door closed, the smile on my face fell away like a discarded mask, and my expression collapsed. I went to the bathroom, leaned over the toilet, and shoved my fingers down my throat. Wretch! The chestnuts and milk I had just eaten all came back up. Once, twice, 3 times. I vomited until there was nothing left but bitter bile, until tears and snot covered my face. I sat on the floor, leaning against the toilet, gasping for air. Then I stood up, washed my face, rinsed my mouth, and straightened my hair in the mirror. The woman in the mirror was pale with dark shadows under her eyes, yet her lips still curled upward out of habit. Shinlucy, you can't smile anymore. If you keep smiling, you'll die. I picked up my phone and dialed a number.
Hello, Lawyer Zhou? This is Shinlucy. I want to consult on something: poisoning within a marriage, intentional harm to a pregnant woman, and the illegal use of drugs. Are these charges enough to put someone in prison?
There was silence on the other end for a few seconds.
Ms. Shun, are you referring to?
My husband, Lu Shuryan. I said calmly. Every day, he puts drugs in my pregnancy tonic and my food, causing fetal growth restriction, and he plans to have my uterus removed during my C-section. I have evidence. I need you to do a few things for me. First, contact an obstetrician I can trust. I want to do a full re-examination and preserve blood and urine samples. Second, help me find out who Nian Nian is: full name, address, and her relationship with Lu Shuryan. Third, draft a divorce agreement. I'll send you the asset division plan later.
Ms. Shen, are you sure? The Lu family's legal team.
Lawyer Zhou, you are the best divorce lawyer in the city. I interrupted. And I don't need to win against Lu Shuryan. I only need to make sure he loses as much as possible. I hung up and walked into the study. Lu Shuryan never allowed anyone into his study, but I was his wife, and my fingerprints could unlock the door. He probably thought a pregnant woman who had been drugged into a mental fog wouldn't have the strength or the presence of mind to go through his things. He was wrong. I opened his desk drawer and found the unlabeled bottle of medicine. They were transparent capsules filled with white powder. I poured one out, wrapped it in a tissue, and placed it inside a Ziploc bag. Then I put the bottle back exactly where it had been. There was also a medical file in the drawer, reports from my prenatal checkups over the past few months. Every page had his handwritten notes, recording my weight, blood pressure, and the baby's head and abdominal circumference. The last line read, 3 months of medication. Fetal development delayed by approximately 2 weeks, consistent with expectations. Maintain current dosage. Consistent with expectations, as if he were conducting an experiment. And I was the test subject. I took out my phone and photographed every single page. Then I closed the drawer, left the study, and stood in the hallway for a moment. Sunlight streamed through the window, falling warmly onto the floor. I looked down at my stomach, 7 months along, round and heavy. The baby gave a little kick. Baby, I whispered. I'm sorry Mommy let you suffer. But I promise you, not one of the people who hurt us will get away. At 3 p.m., Lu Shuryan called me.
Lucy, there's a dinner tonight with some business friends. I want to take you with me.
His voice was as gentle as always. All right, I said.
Then dress up nicely. I'll come pick you up.
After hanging up, I stood in the walk-in closet, looking at the rows of clothes. He had bought me so many dresses, coats, and high heels, all luxury brands. I used to think this was love, but now I knew it was just fattening the lamb for the slaughter. I chose a loose floral dress that emphasized my bump. Then I applied light makeup and wore his favorite lipstick. At 5 o'clock, he arrived home on time and paused for a moment when he saw me.
You look beautiful today,
he said, walking over to kiss my cheek. Really? I smiled. Then you'd better hold my hand tight. Don't let anyone steal me away. He laughed and took my hand. His hand was large, his palm dry and warm, just as it had always been. The dinner was at a private club. There were 7 or 8 people in the private room, all from Lu Shiyan's business circle. They had brought their own female companions, but I was the only pregnant woman there. Shiyan, your wife's belly, she's due soon, right? Someone asked with a smile.
7 months.
Lu Shiyan said, his arm around my waist, his tone carrying the pride of an expectant father.
The due date is at the end of October.
That's coming up fast. Congratulations, congratulations. Amidst the toasts and clinking glasses, I sat quietly by his side. He served me food and poured me water, occasionally leaning in to ask if I was tired. Everyone said we were a devoted couple. Until he went to the bathroom, leaving his phone on the table. I picked up his phone and unlocked it with his fingerprint. I had tried it while he was asleep before. I had already saved his fingerprint in my own phone. On WeChat, Nian's profile had a red notification dot. I tapped it open.
Did she go with you tonight?
I'm
not happy. You promised me you wouldn't bring her to public events.
It's for business. Bear with it. She's just a tool. Once I'm done, I'll discard her.
Will she make a scene?
About what? A woman who's been drugged for months, her mind isn't even normal anymore. Who would believe her?
You're really awful.
If I weren't, how would you love me?
I took screenshots of the chat and sent them to my own phone, then deleted the transfer record. I put the phone back where it was. Lu Shiyan came back from the bathroom and smiled as he asked me,
Are you full?
I'm full, I said. He looked at my plate and frowned slightly.
Why didn't you eat much? Are you feeling unwell?
No, I've just had a poor appetite lately. I smiled, picked up a chestnut cake from the table, and took a bite. Honey, this cake is pretty good. Buy me some when we get back.
Okay.
He smiled and rubbed my head. He probably didn't know it wasn't that I had no appetite. I was afraid that whatever I ate had been drugged again. That night, when we got home, I made a decision. I was going to act. I would play the part of a clueless, silly, love-struck pregnant woman who knew nothing. If he wanted me to drink the pregnancy tonic soup, I would drink it, but I would drink the one I had reboiled myself. His portion would be replaced with vitamin water. If he wanted me to eat chestnuts, I would eat them, but before that, I would pretend to go to the bathroom and swap out the capsules for empty shells. If he heated milk for me, I would drink it, but when he turned away, I would pour it into a sealed bag hidden in my sleeve. At first, it was hard. Looking at his gentle eyes, listening to his concerned words, I had to struggle not to throw up. But gradually, I got used to it. That's how people are when you do something disgusting enough times, you grow numb. I began to cooperate with him proactively. Honey, I haven't had my tonic soup today yet. I would say sweetly. Honey, where are the chestnuts? I feel like having 2 plates today. I would smile. Honey, do you think my body will lose its shape after I give birth? Maybe you should ask the doctor to arrange a postpartum recovery surgery for me. I deliberately brought up surgery. His eyes lit up for a moment.
Of course.
He said.
I've already arranged everything. You won't have to worry about anything when the time comes.
I leaned against his shoulder with a smile. I knew exactly what kind of recovery surgery he meant. Removing the uterus. And I also knew that when the time came, the one lying on that operating table wouldn't be me. Because the doctor he had contacted had already been approached by Lawyer Zhou. What that doctor didn't know is that every phone call, every email, every transfer he made had been recorded. The evidence was being gathered, piece by piece, like a tightening net. A week later, Lawyer Zhou sent me a thick file.
Ms. Shen, everything you asked for has been found. Nian, full name Lin Nian, 26 years old, Lu Shiyan's university classmate and also his first love. They started dating in their freshman year and broke up in their junior year because the Lu family did not approve. After Lu Shiyan married you, Lin Nian went abroad for 2 years. She returned last year, and the two rekindled their relationship. Currently, Lin Nian lives in an apartment under Lu Shiyan's name. He visits her at least 3 times a week. On the days of your prenatal checkups, he always goes to see her first before heading to the hospital to pick you up.
I flipped through the photos. Lin Yan was very pretty, not the stunning kind, but the kind that grows on you the more you look. In the photos, she and Lu Shiryan were kissing downstairs of the apartment building. He had his arm around her waist, wearing an expression I had never seen before. It wasn't gentle. It was passionate. He had always been gentle with me. A mild, proper, perfectly measured gentleness. Like one treats a patient in need of care. Not a lover.
One more thing.
Lawyer Zhou said.
Lin Yan is already 2 months pregnant. Lu Shiryan took her for an ultrasound. It's a boy.
My hand froze. A boy.
Yes, that is why he requires you to have a hysterectomy after giving birth. This way, you won't get pregnant again, and you won't threaten Lin Yan's child's position as the sole heir to the Lu family.
I was silent for a long time.
Ms. Shen.
I'm here.
Are you all right?
I'm fine. I said. I've never been better. After hanging up, I stood by the window, looking out at the night. The baby in my womb kicked me. Little one. I whispered. Did you hear that? Daddy doesn't want you. He wants someone else's child. It's okay. Mommy wants you. Mommy is also going to let everyone know exactly what kind of person your father is. When I was 8.5 months pregnant, Lu Shiryan took me for a prenatal checkup. In the ultrasound room, the doctor looked at the screen and frowned.
The fetus is still small, about 3 weeks behind the normal gestational age. Miss Shen, have you been taking your medication on time?
I have. I said. Lu Shiryan stood beside me, holding my hand with a look of deep concern.
Doctor, will there be any problems?
It's hard to say. I suggest further observation. If the baby continues to be undersized, we may need an early C-section.
An early C-section?
The change in Lu Shiryan's expression was fleeting, but I caught it. It wasn't worry, it was excitement. An early C-section meant he could get the child sooner, remove my uterus sooner, and end this marriage sooner.
Then let's do the early C-section,
he said.
I don't want Lulu to take any risks.
What considerate words. Okay, I said. Leaving the hospital, Lu Shiryan drove while I sat in the passenger seat.
Lulu, don't worry. I'm here for everything.
He reached out and took my hand. I looked at him. Sunlight streamed through the car window, falling on his profile. His eyelashes were long, casting a small shadow. This man was truly handsome, and his heart was truly ruthless. Hubby, I said, do you think if I died one day, you would regret it? His fingers tightened.
What nonsense are you talking?
He frowned.
You won't die. I'll protect you.
Protect me?
Of course.
He turned to look at me, his gaze tender.
You are my wife, the mother of my child, and the most important person in my life.
The most important person.
MHM.
I smiled. Lu Shiryan, when you lie, your eyes look so sincere. It's a pity that from now on, I will never believe them again. On the way home, we passed that chestnut shop in the west of the city, and he pulled over.
Let's buy some more chestnuts. You like them, don't you?
Okay.
He got out of the car and waited in line for over 10 minutes, returning with a bag of hot chestnuts.
Eat them while they're hot. I'll peel them for you.
He didn't notice that during the 10 minutes he was gone, I had turned on the car's dashcam. This recorder captured every phone call he made in the car, including the one he made to the doctor.
Dr. Zhang, on the day of the C-section, you must ensure the hysterectomy is performed properly. Have her sign a consent form afterward, just say it was a necessary removal due to postpartum hemorrhage. She won't suspect a thing.
Including the one he made to Lin Yan.
Nian, just bear with it a little longer. Only 1 more month until she gives birth. Once that's over, I'll send her away and we'll get married.
Including the one he made to my mother.
Mom, Lulu's emotions have been a bit unstable lately. Please call her more often to comfort her. Yes, the doctor said it might be prenatal depression. I'm worried she might do something drastic.
Prenatal depression. What a convenient excuse. Who would believe the words of a depressed pregnant woman? He got into the car and handed me a peeled chestnut with a smile.
Here, eat up, Lulu.
I took it and ate them one by one. Sweet. They were still sweet. Only this time I didn't swallow. I kept them in my mouth, and while he was watching the road, I spat them into a tissue and tucked it into a hidden compartment in my bag. 2 weeks before my due date, I did something even bolder. I went to see Lin Yan. Without telling Lu Shiyan or Lawyer Zhou, I went to her apartment alone. When she opened the door, she was visibly stunned.
Shen Lucy?
Aren't you going to invite me in?
I smiled. After a moment's hesitation, she stepped aside to let me in. The apartment was filled with traces of Lu Shiyan. His slippers, his coat, the cigarettes he usually smoked sitting on the coffee table. A necktie was tossed on the sofa, a birthday gift I had given him last month. He told me he had lost it. So, this was where it was lost. Lin Yan crossed her arms and looked at me, her eyes filled with wariness and a hint of smugness.
No.
I sat on the sofa and spoke slowly.
I'm here to tell you something.
What?
Lu Shiyan won't want the child in your womb.
Her expression changed.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
I looked into her eyes.
Do you know why he wants me to have this child? It's not to carry on the family line. It's because the Lu family patriarch left a will. Once the eldest grandson is born, the mother receives 5% of Lu Group's shares.
I smiled.
Do you know how much that's worth? About 200 million.
Lin Yan's face turned pale.
All those sweet words he told you, only you are worthy of bearing my child, I'll marry you as soon as I deal with her, you believed him, didn't you?
She didn't speak, but her hands were trembling.
Lin Yan, I've looked into you.
I said.
You didn't break up with Lu Shiyan back then because his family disapproved, it was because you found out he was pursuing another girl at the same time. You didn't go abroad to clear your head, you went because you were pregnant and needed an abortion.
Her pupils constricted sharply.
How did you?
How do I know? Because I also checked your medical records from abroad. After that abortion, your uterus was damaged. The doctor said it would be very difficult for you to conceive again. So, you aren't pregnant at all, are you?
Lin Yan slumped onto the sofa, her lips trembling, unable to utter a single word.
That ultrasound was fake. You found a doctor you knew to forge it. You thought you could use it to tie down Lu Shiyan and make him leave me sooner.
I walked to the door and glanced back at her.
I'm telling you this not because I feel sorry for you. I want you to know, this man you love isn't worth doing anything for. He is willing to drug his own flesh and blood, do you think he'll make an exception for you? Lin Yan, you and I are the same. We are both his pawns. The difference is, I've seen through it. What about you?
I pulled open the door and walked out. From behind me came the sound of Lin Yan's suppressed sobbing. I didn't look back. 3 days after meeting Lin Yan, she called me again.
Shen Lucy, you were right. I'm really not pregnant.
I know.
I want to tell you something. Lu Shiyan hasn't just drugged you.
My hand froze.
What do you mean?
5 years ago, in order to pursue you, he drugged his then-fiancée. He made her a laughingstock at their engagement banquet so the Lu family would call off the wedding. That woman later suffered a mental breakdown and was committed to a sanitarium.
What else?
Several of his company's competitors mysteriously developed health problems. He has a man who handles these things for him named Xiao Peng, a black market doctor. Your pills also came from Xiao Peng.
A chill ran down my spine.
Lin Yan, are you willing to testify?
There was a long silence on the other end of the line.
I'm afraid.
What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid he'll retaliate against me after he gets out.
He won't get out.
I said.
At least not for 6 years. By then, you'll no longer be a threat to him. Besides, if you don't testify now, he'll be the first to turn on you once he's caught. Do you really think he'll take the fall for you?
Another long silence followed. She finally said. After hanging up, I sat on the edge of the bed, my hands trembling. It wasn't from fear. It was from rage. Lu Shiyan, just how many people have you ruined? 2 weeks before my due date, I took action. That night, Lu Shiyan said he had business to attend to and came home very late. When he walked through the door, there was a faint scent of perfume on him. It wasn't mine, it was Lin Yan's. I didn't say a word and pretended to be asleep. At 2 in the morning, once I was certain he was sound asleep, I quietly got out of bed. I took a file folder out of a hidden compartment in the walk-in closet. It contained all the evidence I had collected over the past month. Samples of the capsules from the medicine bottle, already tested, with a report showing ingredients that inhibit fetal development. Prenatal checkup records containing his handwritten notes documenting the dosage and the remark as expected. Dashcam recordings, his phone calls with the doctor and Lin Yan. Screenshots of WeChat conversations, the complete dialogue between him and Lin Yan. Apartment surveillance footage obtained from Lawyer Zhou, capturing him and Lin Yan entering and leaving the apartment. Transfer records, the record of his payments to Zhao Peng and the evidence chain of Zhao Peng providing him with illegal drugs. Lin Yan's testimony, written material with her signature and thumbprint. The medical records and testimony of his fiancée from 5 years ago. I made 3 copies of the evidence. One was sent to the Public Security Bureau. One was sent to the board of directors of the Lu Group. One I kept in my own hands. Then I took out my phone and posted to my Moments. There was no text, only a single photo. In the photo was a plate of peeled chestnuts, and next to it sat a medicine bottle without a label. The location tag, Lu Shiyan's home. It was 3 in the morning when I hit post. I knew that this post would spread across the entire city before dawn. The next morning, Lu Shiyan was jolted awake by his phone. He picked it up and his face instantly turned pale.
Shun Lucy.
He sat up abruptly and glared at me.
What the hell did you post?
I sat at the vanity, slowly brushing my hair as I watched my reflection in the mirror.
What is this?
I asked calmly.
The chestnuts. The medicine.
His voice was trembling.
What is the meaning of that post?
Oh, that.
I turned around to face him.
It means exactly what it says. My husband peels chestnuts for me every day. Can't I post a little something on social media to show off our love?
His face turned a sickly shade of ashen gray.
What do you know?
Know what?
I tilted my head, feigning confusion.
Hubby, what are you talking about?
His phone rang again. This time, it was his father. Lu Shiyan, what the hell have you done? The board of directors is in an uproar. Someone told them you're drugging your wife. Explain yourself to me right now. His face went white. Immediately after, a 3rd call came, then a 4th, then a 5th. All of them were asking about the chestnuts and the medicine. Completely panicked, he rushed over and grabbed my wrist.
Shun Lucy. What on earth did you do?
I looked down at the hand gripping me. He was squeezing so hard his nails dug into my flesh. It hurt, but it was nothing compared to the pain in my heart.
Lu Shiyan.
I said slowly.
Do you know when I found out?
He froze.
That night, when you were on the phone in the study, you said, once she gives birth to the child, remove her uterus. You forgot to hang up.
His pupils contracted sharply.
I didn't.
You did.
He let go of my hand and took a step back.
Then you.
I've been acting every single day.
I stood up and looked him in the eye.
Our baby, the developmental delay isn't because of any drugs. It's because you haven't been able to eat these past few months, you're malnourished.
He said, still trying to argue his way out.
But the medicine you used? I've already sent it for testing. Your calls with the doctor? Recorded. Your chat logs with Lin Yan? Screenshotted. The records of you transferring money to buy her an apartment? I found those, too.
I picked up the file folder from the nightstand and threw it at his feet.
Lu Shiyan, you're finished.
He stood there, rooted to the spot like a tree struck by lightning. Then his eyes changed. The gentleness was gone, the panic was gone. All that remained was a feral, beast-like ferocity I had never seen before.
You're finished.
He repeated my words, his mouth slowly curling into a grin.
Shinlusi, do you have any idea what you've done?
He walked toward me, one step, then another. I backed away.
You sent the evidence to the board? To the police?
His voice was dropped to a low hiss, as if squeezed from his throat.
You think that's enough to take me down?
Lu Shiyan, this is your karma.
Karma?
He suddenly roared. He lunged at me, his hands clamping around my neck.
You ruined me.
He shrieked, his fingers tightening.
You ruined me. Do you know what my father will do to me? Do you know how the board will handle this? You bitch.
I couldn't breathe. His fingers were like iron pincers around my throat, and my vision began to go dark. My baby was kicking frantically in my womb. I couldn't die. My hands groped blindly across the vanity until they caught hold of something, a crystal table lamp. Summoning every last ounce of my strength, I grabbed the lamp and slammed it against his head. Bang, the lamp shattered. He let out a muffled groan, his grip loosened, and his body swayed. I hit him again. This time, he let go completely, stumbling backward. Blood streamed from his temple, masking half of his face. I slumped to the floor, gasping for air and clutching my neck as tears finally began to fall. It wasn't fear, it was fury.
You still want to kill me?
My voice was trembling. He clutched his head, blood seeping through his fingers as he glared at me like a mad dog backed into a corner. Right then, the doorbell rang. It wasn't a normal ring, it was the kind of urgent, persistent, and authoritative ringing that wouldn't take no for an answer. Lu Shiyan's face turned deathly pale. I pushed myself up against the dressing table, stood up, and opened the door. 4 uniformed police officers were standing there.
Ms. Shinlusi?
That's me.
We received a report regarding your husband's suspected involvement in intentional assault and the illegal use of drugs.
Come in.
I stepped aside, looking at Lu Shiyan, who was slumped on the floor.
The man you're looking for is right there.
As the police led Lu Shiyan away, I stood by the door. He stopped suddenly as he passed by me.
Shinlusi,
His voice was hoarse.
do you think you've won?
I didn't look at him.
Lu Shiyan, this isn't about winning or losing. This is about good and evil.
He was escorted into the police car. After the car drove away, I stood at the door as the wind blew through my hair. The baby in my womb kicked me. Baby? I whispered softly. Mama doesn't have a papa for you anymore. But Mama has you. 3 days later, I received a call from Lawyer Zhou.
Miss Shin, I have 2 pieces of news, one good, one bad. Which do you want to hear first?
The bad news.
Lu Shiyan's legal team is very strong. They might try to shift the blame onto Zhao Peng to seek a reduced sentence.
And the good news?
Lin Yan contacted the prosecutor's office on her own initiative and provided more evidence. Also, the fiancé Lu Shiyan harmed 5 years ago has stepped forward. The charges he's facing have increased from 3 counts to 7.
7 counts.
Intentional assault, illegal use of drugs, fraud, commercial bribery, falsifying medical documents, attempted violent assault, and one more you might not expect.
What is it?
The medication records he gave you used a forged hospital seal. That is a criminal offense. It doesn't stack with the other charges, but the nature of the crime is far more severe.
I was silent for a moment. Lawyer Zhou, can I do one thing?
What is it?
I want to ask him one question, face to face, in court. Lawyer Zhou fell silent for a few seconds.
I'll arrange it for you.
On the day of the trial, I wore loose-fitting clothes. My bump was quite large by then. Lu Shiyan stood in the defendant's dock wearing an orange prison uniform. His hair was cropped short, and he had lost a significant amount of weight. There was still gauze on his temple from where I had hit him. When he saw me enter, his eyes flickered. I didn't know what it was, regret? Hatred? Or something else? It didn't matter anymore. The trial lasted for 4 hours. Evidence was presented piece by piece, and testimonies were read out one by one. When Lin Yan took the stand to testify, Lu Shiyan looked at her with pure disbelief.
Nyen, you.
Lin Yan interrupted him, her voice cold.
I helped you deceive Lucy because you promised me 50 million once the job was done. Not because I loved you. Hear me clearly, I never loved you. Not for a single minute.
Lu Shurian's face was as white as paper. I sat in the gallery, watching this scene unfold. There was no sense of pleasure in my heart, nor was there any sadness. There was only the calm that comes when the dust has finally settled. Eventually, the judge announced a recess to await the verdict. Before the court adjourned, I raised my hand.
Your Honor, I would like to say a word to the defendant.
The judge glanced at me and nodded. I stood up and walked over to Lu Shurian. Separated by the railing, I looked at this man I had once loved so deeply.
Lu Shurian,
I said.
Do you remember? When you proposed, I said something to you.
His lips trembled, but no sound came out.
I said, if there ever comes a day when you betray me, I won't cry, and I won't make a scene. I will make you regret it for the rest of your life. Back then, you smiled and said, that day will never come. Now, do you regret it?
He looked at me, his eyes slowly reddening.
Lulu.
No need to answer.
I turned and walked away. Behind me came his voice, hoarse, trembling, and choked with tears.
Lulu. Lulu. I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong.
I didn't look back. Some paths cannot be retraced once they have been walked. Some people are not worth forgiving once they have caused such pain. On the day the verdict was delivered, lawyer Zhou called to tell me the result. Lu Shurian was sentenced to 9 years for multiple crimes. It was 3 years more than expected. Because of the testimony from Lin Yan and his fiancée, combined with the charges for forging official seals, the judge did not show leniency. Lawyer Zhou said.
What is it?
While in the detention center, Lu Shurian made a phone call to Lin Yan. Lin Yan recorded it and sent it to me. Do you want to hear it?
Play it.
A recording played over the phone. First came Lu Shurian's voice, exhausted, raspy, and weeping.
Nian Nian, why did you destroy me? Was I not good to you? For you, I even gave up my own wife and child. Why did you do this to me?
Then came Lin Yan's voice, calm, clear, and devoid of emotion.
Lu Shurian, you've got it wrong. You didn't give them up for me, you did it for yourself. You wanted me to have a child because you wanted an heir. From beginning to end, you never loved anyone. You only love yourself.
I admit I'm not a good person. But at least I'm honest about my malice. You're so wicked you even deceive yourself. When you asked me for 50 million, you said you loved me. You said you were pregnant with my child and wanted to marry me. It was all a lie.
Lin Yan's voice suddenly rose. The recording cut off there. I remained silent for a long time after listening.
Miss Shin, are you all right?
I'm fine. Lawyer Zhou, do something for me.
Go ahead.
Keep this recording safe. In the future, if anyone from the Lu family comes to me seeking custody of the child, play this recording for them.
No problem.
After hanging up, I lay on the hospital bed, staring at the ceiling. My daughter was asleep in the small bed beside me, her breathing light and soft, like a kitten's. I thought back to the day Lu Shurian proposed. It was raining, and he knelt in the downpour, soaked to the bone. He said,
Lulu, I will only love you for the rest of my life.
I cried back then and said,
Me too.
Thinking back now, that phrase, me too, was probably the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. But it doesn't matter. Once you've been stupid once, you won't be stupid a second time. On the day my daughter turned 1 month old, I received a letter. There was no name on the envelope, but the postmark showed it was sent from prison. I opened it. Inside was a thick stack of letter paper, filled with dense, cramped handwriting. The first page read,
Lulu, I'm sorry. I know these 3 words aren't enough, but I still want to say them.
It was Lu Shurian's confession, a full 12,000 words long. He wrote about his childhood. He wrote about how his father treated his mother. He wrote about the lesson he had learned since he was a boy, that emotions are a weakness, and one must never have a weakness. He wrote that when he first saw me, his heart truly stirred. He said that when he was pursuing me, he really did want to live out the rest of his life with me. But then he wrote about what his father told him. He wrote that he had struggled and agonized, but in the end, he chose profit. He wrote about giving Lin Yen money to fake a pregnancy just to provoke me into having a child sooner. He wrote that when he drugged me, his hands were shaking, but thinking of his father's promise, he still poured the medicine into my soup. He wrote about how he watched me drink that fetal protection soup every day, and how he would have nightmares every night, dreaming that I was dead, dreaming that the child was gone. He wrote that he thought he would eventually get used to it, but he never did. He regretted it every single day, but he didn't know how to stop. He wrote that at the moment he choked me, his mind went blank, and by the time he snapped out of it, it was already too late. He wrote that he thinks of me every night, remembering the first time I called him husband, the way I leaned on his shoulder to watch movies, and the first time the baby kicked during my pregnancy, when I excitedly pulled his hand to feel my belly. He wrote that the greatest mistake of his life was hurting me. He wrote that he did not dare to beg for my forgiveness. He only hoped I would live well and raise the child. On the last page, there was only one sentence. Lulu, if there is a next life, I won't make the same mistake again. I finished reading. Then I folded the letter, put it back in the envelope, walked into the kitchen, and threw it into the trash can. It wasn't because I wasn't moved. It was because being moved and forgiving are two different things. 12,000 words of confession cannot outweigh every single sip of poison I drank during those 10 months of pregnancy. Writing I love you 100 times cannot outweigh those desperate kicks from the child in my womb when he had his hands around my neck. Some hurts cannot be erased by a sorry. Some roads, once traveled, allow no turning back. On my daughter's first birthday, I took her to see the sea. It was her first time seeing the ocean. She was so excited she was dancing, pointing her little finger at the waves and babbling away. I held her as I stood on the beach, the sea breeze blowing through my hair.
Baby. Do you know what your name is?
She looked up at me, her eyes bright.
It's Chen. The Hu, that means to surpass oneself, and the Chen, that means sincere devotion. Mommy wants you to remember that the most important person in this world is yourself. Don't ever lose yourself for anyone else.
She didn't understand, but she smiled. She smiled like a blooming flower. I smiled too. Behind us, the sign of that chestnut shop in the west of the city sparkled in the setting sun. I never ate chestnuts again. It wasn't out of fear, I was just tired of them. Sweet things, if you eat too much of them, become cloying. Just like love. If you trust in it too much, it will kill you. But I have learned, before loving anyone else, love yourself first. Trusting too much will kill you. But I have learned to love myself before loving others.
This is not a story about revenge, but about awakening. The hearing moves from being controlled and harmed to calmly gathering evidence and fighting back, ultimately reclaiming her life and protecting her child. It is not about the end of love, but about how a person rebuilds herself in the face of devastation and learns never to hand her fate over to someone else again. Bye bye.